Jimmy Butler's return to Miami was nothing short of emotional. The Heat honored him with a tribute video, fans gave him a standing ovation, and for a moment, Butler let his emotions show. But this wasn't just a homecoming, it was a battle. Facing off against his former teammates, Butler played with fire, proving why he's still one of the best in the game. But what did he really think about the tribute? Did he feel regret about leaving Miami? And how did the Heat players react to seeing their former leader in a different jersey? This game was bigger than basketball. It was about legacy, respect, and unfinished business. Let's break down everything that happened in Butler's highly anticipated return. Jimmy Butler's return to Miami was one of the most anticipated moments of the season, and when the day finally arrived, emotions were running high. The former face of the Miami Heat, now wearing the Golden State Warriors jersey, stepped onto the court at Casillas Center, a place where he had built a legacy. The crowd was buzzing with a mixture of excitement and nostalgia, knowing that this was not just another regular season game. The moment that everyone had been waiting for came when the Miami Heat played a tribute video for Butler, honoring his incredible run with the franchise. As the video played on the Jumbotron, showing highlight after highlight of his most iconic moments in a Heat uniform, the crowd erupted in a standing ovation, and for the first time in a long time, Jimmy Butler allowed himself to be in the moment. From deep playoff runs to game-winning shots, the video captured everything Butler had meant to the city of Miami. Clips of his heroic performances in the NBA Finals, his intense leadership on and off the court, and even his off-court moments with teammates played on the big screen. The camera panned to Butler, and for a brief moment, the usually stone-faced competitor showed emotion. He nodded his head, clapped his hands, and acknowledged the fans who once chanted his name in support. Even his former teammates, sitting on the Heat bench, smiled and clapped, showing their appreciation for what Butler had done for the franchise. After the tribute video ended, the game resumed, but there was no doubt that the emotions of the moment lingered. The Heat fans, despite now seeing him as an opponent, couldn't help but admire the player who had given them some of the best years in recent history. However, Butler is a competitor first, and as soon as the ball was in play, he locked in and was ready to remind Miami exactly why he was such a force during his time there. The game was intense from the start, with Butler showcasing the same aggressive style of play that made him a fan favorite in Miami. Every possession felt like it had extra weight, every shot attempt was contested harder than usual, and every interaction between Butler and his former teammates had a little extra edge to it. But nothing compared to the moment when Butler found himself going one-on-one with Bam Adebayo, his former running mate in Miami. It was a battle of two players who had shared countless wars together, and when Butler hit a tough fadeaway jumper over Bam, the crowd gasped. Butler didn't celebrate, he didn't talk trash, he simply nodded his head, acknowledging the moment. Bam, always a competitor, smirked back, showing that while they were no longer teammates, the respect was still there. After the final buzzer sounded, the emotions of the night weren't over. The media swarmed Butler, eager to hear his thoughts on the tribute video and his return to Miami. Butler, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, was candid about what the night meant to him. He admitted that the tribute video brought back memories, both good and bad. He spoke about the battles he fought with his former teammates, the culture that Miami instilled in him, and the lessons he learned from Erik Spoelstra and Pat Riley. He also acknowledged the fans, saying that Miami will always have a special place in his heart, even though he's now focused on a new journey. Reporters pressed Butler about whether he had any regrets about leaving Miami, and in true Jimmy fashion, he answered with his trademark honesty. He said he doesn't believe in regrets, only lessons. He explained that everything happens for a reason and that while his time in Miami was special, he's now focused on winning another championship with the Warriors. He spoke highly of his new teammates in Golden State, expressing excitement about what they can accomplish together. But he also made it clear that he still has love for Miami, the fans, and the organization that took a chance on him. On the other side, Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra was also asked about Butler's return. Spoelstra, who had always shared a special bond with Butler, didn't hold back in his praise. He called Butler one of the hardest workers he had ever coached, someone who changed the culture of the team and pushed everyone around him to be better. Spoelstra admitted that it was strange seeing Butler in a different jersey but emphasized that he will always respect what he did for the franchise. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro, two of Butler's closest teammates in Miami, also shared their thoughts. Bam talked about how Butler's leadership changed his approach to the game, and how much he learned from him over the years. He admitted that competing against Butler now was weird, but at the end of the day, it was all love. Herro, who had developed under Butler's mentorship, spoke about how much Butler pushed him to be better and how grateful he was for the time they spent together as teammates. As for the fans, the night was an emotional roller coaster. Some were still hurt that Butler was no longer a part of the team, wondering what could have been if he had stayed. Others chose to focus on the good times, appreciating everything he had done for the franchise. The standing ovation during the tribute video was proof that, despite how things ended, Butler's impact on Miami was undeniable. Butler's return to Miami wasn't just about basketball, it was about legacy, respect, and appreciation. It was a reminder of what he meant to the city and the franchise, and while he's moved on to a new chapter, his time in Miami will never be forgotten. As he left the arena that night, he did so knowing that he had given everything to the franchise during his time there. And no matter where his career takes him next, the memories of those years will always be a part of his story. Now, with Butler fully focused on his new journey with the Warriors, the big question remains: what's next? Can he lead Golden State back to championship glory? Will he get another shot at a ring, this time with Steph Curry by his side? And what happens if the Warriors and Heat meet again in the playoffs? If that happens, this storyline will only get even more dramatic. Imagine a 7-game series where Butler goes head-to-head with his former team, where every possession feels personal, and where the battle for a championship is on the line. If that happens, this emotional return to Miami will just be the beginning of something even bigger. For now, Jimmy Butler continues his journey with Golden State, but no matter what, his time in Miami will always be remembered. And whether you love him or hate him, one thing is for sure: Jimmy Butler's story is far from over. Now, with Butler fully focused on his new journey with the Warriors, the big question remains: what's next? Can he be the missing piece that helps Golden State reclaim its spot at the top of the NBA? The Warriors already have a winning culture, built around Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, but adding Butler brings a whole new level of intensity, toughness, and defensive grit. His ability to take on the toughest assignments, make clutch plays, and bring a never-back-down mentality could be exactly what the Warriors need to make another championship run. But there are challenges ahead. The Western Conference is stacked with talent, and the Warriors will have to battle teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, and Los Angeles Lakers just to make it out of the West.